It's been quite a long time since the last time we saw each other, but we're back. The best podcast covering the world of League of Legends esports is back. Power Spike here. It's myself, Dom, and Monty. Since then, we've had a new NBA champion. We had a new NHL champion. USA won CONCACAF. What else happened? There's a player strike. There was Doublelift fucking proven why he's Doublelift. What else? Like, the league's
maybe
back
some
on
content.
Off.
He made me some good content. Like,
holy shit.
It's very easy to then make your point, because originally I was getting crucified on Reddit because I said, oh, they're not genuine in this player walkout. None of these fucking players are going to give their job for academy players. I know how they talk about academy players. And everyone's like, fuck you, Dom, you bootlicker. You're just up Riot's ass because you need the LCS co-stream or you're fucking poor. We know it. So I was like, you know what?
We know it.
Yeah, it was one of those situations where I was against the people, and they came after me in fucking droves. It was crazy. And then Doublelift thankfully opened his mouth and was like, actually, that would be insane for us to give up our jobs for academy players. Why else? Why would we do that? They're academy players. Like, are you serious? We're just using our leverage. And then somebody's like, what's the leverage? And he's like, that we're walking out. And it's like, yeah, there is just a fucking hamster that is like on one leg on the wheel, just trying to run and trying to make something happen, but nothing is going on up there.
Can we bring back Chouster to control him like a mech like he used to? Because I like that era of Doublelift the best personally.
Yeah.
You traded out Chouster for Lena, so too late. Sorry, Chouster. Can't hold a candle to that one.
That is a bad trade for Doublelift.
Let's get into let's we're back, baby. Like, it took like 2
worst
minutes.
Trade deal in the history of trade deals.
I don't know. Bradley Beal, Chris Paul, this whole thing that just happened. Do you have quick thoughts on that, Dom, for our basketball aficionados? Have you heard of that?
I just knew the Heat were going to get Bradley Beal, but also I don't really like Bradley Beal as a player, because right now they have like a new CBA. There's a new collective bargaining agreement. So it's hard. The Suns' problem already was depth. They did not have good depth at all, right? And now they're going to have this problem exacerbated. They're not going to be able to sign like a good bench. And Bradley Beal, I mean, he doesn't play. Like, he barely played the last 2 years. He played like 83 games in 2 years, and his contract is a fucking nightmare. There's a reason why people want to offload it. So I'm not a huge fan of that move for the Suns. Like, I don't think that puts them over the edge, and they're just not going to be a deep team at all. It's going to be like, how far ahead can we get when Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant are on the floor? Because we are going to be like a minus 20 in the 4 minutes that our bench plays.
Yeah. For NBA fans, the new collective bargaining agreement means that you really can't go into the luxury tax anymore. You can't spend more than what you're supposed to spend. Before, you were able to do it and you're able to get away with it. Now you're not really able to do that. If you want us to do a basketball podcast or a sports podcast, let us know in the comments below. Last Free Nation Sports.
The answer is yes. And by the way, guys, that time might be coming somewhat soon, because we've now also expanded into non-esports content. So as of tomorrow, if you're watching this live, or literally the same day in a few hours, if you're watching the VOD that was released, Doe and I have our show Nerd Legion that's coming out. It's going to be about sci-fi and fantasy TV shows and films. So this week it was about Star Trek Strange New Worlds in the new season. It's going to be Black Mirror and Secret Invasion and more Strange New Worlds this next week. So we are starting to put out that additional esports content. You can look below here for the Last Free Nation Culture channel on YouTube. So fun. Please subscribe to that channel.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait for the types of content that we'll be putting together across our whole roster of talent.
I think sports stuff will be coming, by the way, because all of us want to talk about it. So
The Nuggets over the Heat, that one, you were going to bring that one up too?
It reminded me of LPL versus LCK at MSI, the Nuggets versus the Heat series.
Yeah, I could see it. I think the Nuggets are just the best team. Like, I should have fucking bet all my money on the Nuggets. Like, because I watch I always watch the Suns play a ton. That's the reason why I fucking hate the trade so much. I watch the Suns play a ton because my girlfriend's from Arizona. So we watch every single Suns game. And when we were watching the Suns versus the Nuggets, it was so apparent that they were just a level above all the other teams in the NBA. Like, so, I mean, I should have been fucking on that shit for a while, but I watched it play out. I tried to have some hopium for the Heat, but the Heat just don't have the talent.
Jimmy, man, you know, how could you say no to playoff Jimmy? That was a very attractive pick to take. You know, you love Coach Spo, but the Nuggets been building it since what Carmelo left. There's like an ESPN article on like the whole construction of the roster. All right, we did the sports. We'll do more sports later on here. Last Free Nation, as you can see, we also redid our assets here for the year, which will continue to grow and evolve.
This is a
some
teaser
of the partners that we've had.
Yeah, this is a teaser for you guys because we have a new sponsor coming up in July for this show. So we redid everything. You guys will see. It's very cool. It's very cool.
If you can guess what sponsor is, put it in the comments and I'll give you a shout out next show for sure.
I would be impressed.
Sure. Or in a couple of weeks, whenever it comes out. It's a good one. It's a good one. We're all excited about it. All right. First things first, we're going to go into our first segment of the day, a new segment. It's actually for the teams that had high expectations and maybe not quite meeting them, or, you know, maybe their name, I guess, precedes them, or you thought that a new split would bring new hope. And instead, it's our new segment. Everything is on fire. All right, to kick things off, everything is on fire for these three teams that are winless. One of them expected not to be winless. One of them to be probably like undefeated. One of them expected to have at least one win, and one of them has had a lot of time to fix their shit and still haven't. Those three teams would be FlyQuest, DRX, and Excel, all
reigning world champions. DRX.
Sorry, yes. Okay. Perennial underachievers. Excel. They're on this as well. All right, everything's on fire with these. Let's go through why they're on fire and which fire is I guess the most raging. The ragingest fire. Let's start with you and FlyQuest.
Which is the Canadian wildfire that is blotting out the skies of New York City right now.
I was there. That was crazy. It was Diablo-esque. Holy cow.
So I have to say, like, you have to temper your expectations, right? I think at this point, like, we would have said Excel, we would have thought that potentially this would be one of the best teams in the LEC last split. But based on the changes that have been made to this roster, you would not necessarily have held out that same hope coming into summer. They've tried to make some, emergency substitutions across this roster, including now bringing in Abadage in the mid lane and a new jungler in Peach. But I guess their performance has been somewhat underwhelming, but they've had I would say a tougher week against Koi, Fnatic, and SK, even though SK perhaps hasn't looked as good as they did in the
Koi. And Koi is bad too. It was like, probably, I did have to watch Static Shiv Ari today, which made me sad on the inside. And especially because of the way it was played, not auto attacking. Very intriguing way to play that build. But this is all to say, like, I didn't have very big expectations for Excel. So we know it's on fire. It's been on fire for some time. And it seems like Excel management is just trying to contain the fire. They've had PR fires based off of, their player contracts. Their coaching staff has been let go. And I hope we get some more cool documentaries from them, but I kind of doubt it, because if anything, their content crew was absolutely crushing it. That was great. We got to see the depression firsthand. I was entertained by that.
Tears.
Now, as for DRX, it's like they're arsonists who can't stop from burning their own house down. And by that I mean, up until very recently, they continued, for reasons unknown, to play Croco, even though he has been fucking terrible. And he finally inted so badly in their last series against KT that they finally put in Juhan, who I think is going to be better. And I say this I was a huge fan of Croco last year, but both he and Beryl have been egregious in terms of their play so far this season. And they've put in some rookie players now, so they're looks like they're just trying to develop. So it's pretty bad. Now, the worst one, the most alarming one, is obviously FlyQuest, who coming into this split by trading for Vulcan should have been the favorites for the LCS. And that is very alarming. But I also know that FlyQuest has had a very good scrim record. And from my conversations, they've been like really, really doing well in practice. But they haven't been able to get that synergy together on stage. And that is concerning. But I have more faith that that will turn around.
I have no faith that it will turn around. I think Vikla.
No way.
I think Vikla is
number one on the NA server with a 60% win rate, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So I was actually, I wanted to see something out of this guy when he came back. You know, he had a pretty embarrassing finish to his season, I would say. I mean, he started pretty much inting week 3 and he just never looked like a top tier player. The difference between him and Gory was pretty massive when it came to, what you're looking for out of an import. So when he got rank 1, I wanted to see him show me something. He's like one of the worst Annie, but I never want to see him play Annie again. If you see the way he got solo killed by Gore, it was like the most noob solo kill you'll ever see in your life. Like
what, when he blew the flash and then he just like walked up on him to like clear the wave, and then
when he just walks up, uses his Q, like he uses his stun on the wave, and then Gory just like casually ease forward and then puts his it's not even like he did like a fast like soldier combo or something. He just like put the W down, Q, auto attack, slowly went back to the wave and cleared it. You look at the team fights, he can't hit flash ult. Number one, no one should be playing Annie in the West anymore. Stop playing fucking Annie. You all suck at it. None of you know how to set up anything. None of you actually control vision in a good way. No one buys red sweepers. You guys aren't just like in the river in like a suspicious location. No one should play this champion. Stop playing Annie. Just never play it again. No one ever played again in the West. You're not going to learn it. This is what NAU need to do. They need to start playing Azir and Corki again, and they need to sit in the fucking river because that's all they want to do anyway. And they see the enemy team, and the enemy team sees them, and they just like throw their skill shots at each other. And they put a tank top in front of it, and then somebody steps too far forward, you kill a guy, steps too far forward, nice, we've won the game. These anti-comps, they don't fucking work. You're not JDG. You're not gonna fucking make this shit work. It's just exactly the opposite of how you want to play the game. That's number one. But Vikla, if you're going to be playing the Annie, like you at least have to be able to hit your ability. You at least have to be able to lane. Like what is going on with Vikla's lane phase? Why is he so bad at laning? Like there's no way he can't see that he's going to get solo killed by Azir. How do you play Annie into Azir and get solo killed? Like the only way you can die is if you blow your flash at some point and then Azir shuffles you. And it's like, damn, that sucks. Like that's the way you die in Annie Azir lane. You don't get solo killed. Like a dry as fuck solo kill. Like there was nothing on that solo kill. Bro, if you were trying to like chew on that solo kill, it would literally be like sand. You'd have to spit it out. It was horrible. It was horrible, man.
What is a wet solo kill?
That's the one where you like
sexy one.
Yeah, the sexy one. That's where you like fucking you're playing like Lee Sin mid and you just fucking you Q in one direction, you flash, ward jump, kick him into your Q, and then you like land. That's the fucking nice solo kill.
That's the
Faker. What was that? That was a wet ass solo kill. This was dry.
I like the new terminology that Tom is inventing right now.
I've been doing it for like 6 months. I just haven't brought it to the show. It's time you.
To be fair, all right. To be fair, I've never heard the wet solo kill. We know what the dry solo kill is, right? The dry ass Q, dry ass whatever. But that I appreciate us going on the opposite side there, Tom.
Yeah, no, I normally use it for like when it's what I use to start calling like hooks in lane and stuff. When people just throw a skill shot and it's like there's no prep. It's not like they like juke back and forth or they flash in. It was just like you just throw a hook and it hits the guy in the face and then you just get the kill.
Lube it up first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Our new sponsor is KY.
Yeah. Our new sponsor.
For all of our viewers definitely be using that, right? Guys, guys, and everyone else.
We need the KY sponsor because we need some reproduction to happen, or else there's going to be no one watching the LCS soon. So, like, please have more sex. And
I'm doing my part. You guys get on that.
I'm working on it. Dom, you're next.
I guess it's time. Make some viewers myself. Jesus.
I think you guys are both wrong. It has to be Excel. Like I was actually, while you guys were going in, I was looking at it. What was the team that was both in last place for 2 splits in a row? In the West. We'll go in the West. Actually, in general, if you know one. There's one in the East that was back-to-back, and then there's like one in the West that were 2 splits in a row, 10th place.
In history, or what are we talking about?
In history, 10th place, back to back.
CLG.
CLG was 10th and 9th in 20.
Golden Guardians probably or some shit.
That's right. It was my fucking Golden Guardians.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Right. So that's one. The other one is Hanwha Life last split. But I mean, I was looking at it. Hanwha Life 10th or last year. Fredit Brian was 9th, 10th. Jin Air was 9th, 10th back in 2019. But like
good fact, Dgon. Good job.
Yeah. This is a squad that like usually you can figure it out after 2 splits of sucking. To be fair, this is a year, not a split, but they haven't been able to do that, Andrew. They haven't been able to do that. And I feel like it's pretty pathetic when you know how well the content is coming out, but the management is like not doing anything about it. The players haven't been able to perform. This is historically bad.
They've made
everyone else has been able to
aggressive roster moves too.
I mean, the roster moves they made, like when you looked at the original team, you could kind of see where the firepower was coming from. I mean, you had more to be hyped up for, like Vetio like an MVP recently. He was an MVP last year, and then you have Targamas coming off winning a championship. So actually came off a really good split. But at this point, it's like Peach was good in ERLs, I guess, in terms of results. When I watched him play in EU Masters, I thought he was so terribly bad. He looks I don't think he's underperforming because he's in LEC. He's on the LEC stage. I think he's just a bad player. So
they may have not had the most options to bring onto the team at this point with the amount of bad publicity that they've had both towards the fans and also behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Abadage is, I mean, he's playing like Abadagi. That's number 2. And then Limit, I don't know, man. I don't know what he's good at anymore. He can't play Enchanters. He can't play Recon. Like, I don't know what the point of him being a player is at this point either. So when you look at XL and you look at the lineup, you expect them to be at 10th place. Like on paper, they should be bottom 2 now. Whereas before, they should have been like maybe like 5th or 4th or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like, again, historically bad. They're en route to be the first team to get 10th place 3 splits in a row in the history of League of Legends. Like, it's not good. And given the fact that, as you said right at the top there, Dom, they played some of the underperforming, not so good teams already. What's going to happen later on it is yet to be seen. 10 championship points for this squad so far. Your boy Evie has more than 2 in 1 split than 2 splits here for Excel.
I had to watch Evie run it down and still win the game today. It was just so hard.
3-0 Evie, baby.
God,
did you like it when he was just running up the mid lane and almost throwing the game?
Yeah, I like how he just threw the game multiple times and then Vitality just threw it back, and then you get to see like the thumbs up again. The thumbs up. I ran it fucking down. It's so triggering, actually. Like, why does he get to win? Why does he get to win while other players get ELO held perma? Like, it makes no fucking sense to me. I have to watch fucking Viper suffer. I have to watch Viper fucking suffer regularly. My fucking goat. He's in the fucking gutter, and I got heavy thumbs upping and beating Vitality super team. It's insane.
Maybe Viper should be on a Peter Dunn team.
Peter Dunn, baby. That's what it is. Peter Dunn's a winner.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So those are the teams that are on fire. Which one is the biggest fire? Did we go with FlyQuest there? I think
FlyQuest is currently the biggest fire due to expectations, but I also think that they are the most likely of these teams to turn it around. For sure. I still believe in FlyQuest.
I mean, 0-3 was.
I don't believe in them to be like. I don't believe in them to win. I believe in them to like get top 3 and probably go to Worlds and be like a bad Worlds team.
That's pretty good for an 0-3 start.
Yeah, sure. I'll do some digging for next week. Has there been a team that started 0-3 that has made it to Worlds? I feel like it's that damn TSM team that.
I mean, like RNG was like 1-5 after they won MSI, and then they made it to Worlds. So
okay, all right. Well, Dom with the facts already. I'll double check it for next episode. All right. Our next segment that we have coming up here. Going back to the LCS, because we haven't had an episode since the our last episode. We said there might be a walkout. Then there was the strike, the delay, the threat of no worlds. Everything kind of happened. So we'll touch a little bit here in our next segment. Listen up, nephews, because I have a take that I don't think anyone's really hit yet across the pundit. So listen up.
Oh, it's gonna be positive.
it's not necessarily positive. It's just, it's just something that no one really talked about. LCS has been a mess. And at the height of all of this strife between the players, the owners, and Riot, everyone's kind of blaming each other, except the players, except for taking elevated salaries. But everyone's like, yeah, get the bag. That's good for you. But that kind of created this whole chasm of now overpaying for talent. All of this actually started back when franchising happened. Right after franchising happened, it was the MLB Advanced Media deal. And it fell through, right? We did some research on it. There aren't a lot of articles out on the deal falling through. Remember, it was like 250 million, or was it
300 million, I think.
300 million
years.
300 million over 7 years, 6 or 7 years. MLB Advanced Media, which is this media company that did all the streaming for all the sports, was paying for the rights to broadcast League of Legends. And theoretically, that is what ProView was going to be. It was going to be ProView plus a UI that had stats, and you can pull up everything right away. And it was going to be a product that a lot of us would have paid for, to see a view of the top pros to start across North America and Europe, and then hopefully across the world. Well, that deal fell through. And one of the major reasons, from what I understood, was that it was a technologically difficult thing to get the information from Riot and the games to the networks, all these like monolithic networks, their TV networks, in real time to make a product happen. So then MLB Advanced Media sued Riot, Riot countersued, and then I think they just nulled the deal, and it went to eventually ESPN Plus, because Disney bought MLB Advanced Media.
Correct.
That is
also the purchase by Disney may also have helped kill the deal, because we don't know whether Disney wanted to continue with that project or not after they purchased it.
Correct. So with all that information, this whole franchise felt like a franchise system was built up on the idea that there was going to be media rights there. $300 million to be shared upon everyone, which is why everything started firing up. And think about a lot of the other leagues, and Monty, you can speak to this a little bit with Overwatch League. They look at one of the leaders of esports in League of Legends and are like, okay, cool. Call of Duty League, 20 million. Overwatch League, you buy in as well. And all these other leagues start franchising and buying in based off of a now not theoretical, but a system that was being put in place. But then the deal falls through. There isn't money. So they're like, okay, we'll try to create revenue through other means, through sponsorships, through live events, through agreements like that. And you just can't match the amount of money that was being put in when you thought you had 300 million. Very much the same thing that would happen with TSM and FTX, right? They were spending way more than what they thought they were going to have because they thought they had it, and then it disappeared. And then no one on the league side tries to restructure the league, because that is a super heavy lift to redo all the agreements and go back on originally with the $10 million and the investment that was put in, which is kind of what we saw in the walkout in Naz's response. You can't just dilute the $10 million and the value of the orgs that they put in already. You can't just do that.
I mean, you could buy it back.
You could, but
that, again, conveniently, Riot just like glosses over some of these issues. They're like, well, we can't dilute the value. You could if you bought it back, Riot. It's like,
but a lot of all of this comes back to the fact that this system and agreement that wouldn't work, and that's what happened. And no one's really kind of put that up. No one's really said like, hey, it was because we started here with franchising and there's going to be 300 million, and everyone just kicks the can down the road. Whatever commissioner it was, whatever head of esports it was, it goes all the way down until now it runs, into an issue here with, Academy being, as we've all uncovered, kind of like the sacrificial lamb in the conflict. So no one's really tracing it back to franchising. Everyone's like, Riot's bad, or the owners are bad because they were looking out for themselves and trying to make money, or some people try to blame the players for taking very large salaries, getting paid way more than players in Korea and players in Europe. That's not the players' fault. I think it's this whole system that was put in place, and then there's blame everywhere amongst the owners and Riot for not really taking a look at the system that wasn't going to work when the contracts fell through for franchising. Thoughts?
I mean, I think that's fair. especially because you have to remember that during this era, it was also when Overwatch League signed a 2-year, $100 million deal with Twitch. So it looked like there was going to be significant media rights revenue coming in until Twitch discovered over the course of that deal that they just couldn't make the money back based on that arrangement because fans were unwilling to subscribe, even though they implemented some very cool ProView-like features for Overwatch League, and they did a lot on the tech side in order to give multiple player perspectives and, you know, custom emotes and a bunch of custom content for fans of various teams within Overwatch League. But I think, yeah, when you are anticipating that revenue and you're building out these franchise fees based around that revenue. By the way, most of the, as has been reported, most of the kind of outstanding Overwatch League fees have been annulled, basically, and they were suspended during the pandemic anyway, to my understanding. So nobody actually, I think, ended up paying $20 million for an Overwatch League spot, maybe half that, I would estimate. But yeah, I think that at the time when you think these media deals are coming in, then they provide a guaranteed source of revenue, and that there hasn't been enough of a pivot off of that. But I think the problem that you're dealing with now, Dgon, is that we have some really brutal kind of metrics around LCS viewership that is really quite troubling, especially this split. And when you talk about the walkout, I think part of the problem with the LCS viewership is that nobody knew it was starting again. And nobody knew it was starting on a Wednesday because, again, that was the super week schedule and not necessarily what they would have expected under the normal split. But you did see that viewership compared to summer season of last year, the peak viewership of the opening day was 120,000 last year, and it was 77,000 this year. And that's across all platforms and co-streamers like our friend here, IWillDominate.
Yeah, it was a little scary. I mean, there was a point where I think there was like 30,000 viewers on the stream, and I had like 8 on my stream.
Yep.
And I was like, what? Like, that used to be literally, you'd only get that. The only time I could remember that little viewership was when there used to be like the Friday Night League thing that they tried that was like terrible. And they would put like an Immortals Dignitas, like absolute shit fest on that game. And that was the only time it would be that low. Like, it used to be comfortably around like 70K, but I don't know, man. It's the thing that I like when I blame the players, it's not really that I blame.
Hold up. Speaking of your Friday Night League viewership. So in 2020, when that happened, the opening day of LCS was Friday Night League, 147,000 peak compared to 77,000. That was in 2020. 2021, 222,000 peak viewership.
220?
In 2021, 220. That was in the peak of the pandemic when all the viewership was way up, right? And then 2022 was 118,000 for summer. And this one was 77,000 peak viewership. It was the lowest viewership ever, I think, for an opening game in LCS history.
Yeah. I mean, when I blame the players, I don't blame the players for like taking the big contracts. I just blame them for like the general like attitude towards it. Like, I mean, for years, I remember just playing in like season 6, season 7, season 8, and I would play like all day, and it's like, how are people giving it such little effort in solo queue? Like, it doesn't feel like this is a region with desperation, like where you really are just giving it all to try to win. And that's always the vibe I got. And I don't know, I just feel like a boomer when I watch these players. Like, they're complaining about like academy players are complaining about salaries now, or like the LCSPA demands are like 300K per year, so 60K a year for each player. In academy for salaries, like that's what they wanted. But it's like, I would play for like 45K and I would have like way less fucking time. I'd be grinding out my fucking ass, and it was all about the love of like the fucking competition. Like, that's what you did it for. Like, you really wanted to be the best, and now it just feels like it's a job. And a lot of the academy players for years weren't doing anything to try to like make themselves stand out or do anything to try to compete on a higher level. I feel like there was just a lot of pros that you'd see in academy for like 4 or 5 years, and they would just be, you know, average, not really improving, just taking the salary, just being happy with like, you know, making 60 to 80K a year and having no expenses. So that's my biggest issue with the whole situation. It's like, you're walking out for these players where like the fucked up thing is obviously that it happened at the end of or like unexpectedly that, you know, all of NACL was changed. But my argument that I made on my videos was always that if you're a sensible person, let's say you work at a fucking startup, for example, and you're working at a business and you have a really fucking good salary and you realize the business is doing shit. You're like, you're not selling anything and it's just not going well. Like, you know that things are going to end soon. Like, if you're a sensible person, you understand that like this is going to come to an end and you're going to just like lose your salary at some point. So I feel like I mean, a bunch of people in real life have to deal with this all the time. This is just the reality of being part of a product that's not succeeding. It wasn't succeeding. There was no viewership. People weren't like enjoying it, and they're getting paid a fuck ton to do it. So that's just the reality of it.
Yeah, and I see people complaining too about the broadcast and the changes that they've made. Well, guys, let me just put it this way. They have to do something, okay? What they were doing before wasn't working. To continue to do the thing that was decreasing viewership is fucking insanity. That's why I supported the fact that they were moving the broadcast days if they felt that they had data that was going to make it better for viewers. It's better for me as a viewer, I can tell you that right now. And I know a lot of people have said, well, I can watch it during work now on my second monitor, or Europeans can watch it at night, and you don't have to like get burned out by watching LEC directly into LCS, 10 hours of fucking League of Legends in the West on 2 days a week or whatever. So I think there are good reasons that they moved this broadcast. Now, that said, guys, I'm not sure if putting people in a fake pool on stage is the way to increase viewership. I respect that they're trying to do something new.
Worked for Amaranth. I don't see the problem.
Oh, really? I think there might be a few differences, Dom, between Amaranth and the LCS talent. As much as I would like some hashtag Jat thirst traps. Jat thirst traps would be great if we could get a few of those on broadcast. You know, that crew being shirtless maybe isn't the shirtless crew that I want personally, or
Jat stats, the shirtless crew that I want.
Jat traps.
Jat traps. There you go. Also, they had their shirts on, so I don't know what the goal of that was.
Yeah,
it was summer themed.
It was a theme day. It was a couple theme days. It was fine.
Yeah, Monty, I think you're going hard.
You're just a bitter old man, Monty. It is what it is. Have some fun, Monty. Have some fun.
I'm sure that fun is going to revive all the viewership that they're losing. That's the direction that it's going to take. Although potentially putting Amaranth on there would increase viewership.
I mean, it increased viewership when they brought in other content creators like Cutie Cinderella that came on. Like when Courage was on casting game, it did bring a larger audience during those days. So they have tried different things. It would just be fun if it was just us. What if we got to host the LCS? Like, I would love that.
I need to hit the gym a little bit more, but I'm down, Dgon. You just got to give me like a few months, and we'll do the Amaranth stream on the LCS. And that's how the viewership
I'm ready already. I look better without a shirt on than anybody on the LCS.
I know he's not showing it. He's not showing it, but he's got the Under Armour on right now. I'm
going to the gym right after this.
I have dad curls with the baby out.
Kid. Not bad, Monty.
Come at me, Kobe. Come at me, Kobe. I look better.
All right.
We saw old Monty without a shirt on with a ponytail that went down to his ass.
Oh yeah,
looks much better now. I'll tell you that.
Okay, all right, based. Monty's in the gym
again. To Monty's point, and I wanted to give the shout out to Kelsey Moser as well, who's been one of the catalysts to changing the broadcast when she spent time before over at EG working on the Academy broadcast or the Challenger/Academy broadcast to do creative things. You look what they're doing now. It is a lot of player focused type stuff, interviews that get the game content that they need, but then also build the players up and build their brands up. And for these up and coming players, I wish we'll see what the LCS does in the future, but she is the one that also pushed that, like, hey guys, they have to try something different. If you like it, support it. If you don't like it, tell them not, tell them no. But like, again, you have to support this product because we love it. It's okay to be a fan of North America. It's okay to be a fan of the LCS, but continue to give that feedback so that you can see what lands and what doesn't. For those of you that are fans of the LCS.
So I just went to Kick for the first time, and I'm just saying my recommended for you Amaranth stream. Why is that recommended for me? What type of information do they have on me? What the fuck? All right.
They've already bought all your data, Dom. They know.
They bought all your data and they know that you're in the market looking to create more viewers for the LCS. So, you know.
All right. No, it's fun.
Amaranth for LCS. I support.
Yeah. I support Dom and Amaranth for the LCS. All right, let's move on. Okay, LCS. We'll see what happens with the future there in terms of the viewership and the meta moving forward. Now, time for our, our big segment that we always do every episode. It is Galaxy Brain Club time. Only the biggest brains can join on in, which means you all at home, since you're watching this, you're part of the big brain club. It's picking the LEC, LCS, LCK, and LPL champions for our summer splits. Let's get into it. Who will go home with the trophies and the number 1 seeds for Worlds? Well, it's number 1 seeds, but not all like pot 1 seeds, right? So yeah, number 1 seeds for Worlds moving forward. Let's start over in Europe since we just finished watching their week 1. Surprises at the top. We talked about Heretics being on top. Again, the emergence that is FlyQuest.
LEC champion?
Yeah.
Question mark, exclamation.
No,
That's it.
please.
There's the title.
You can see the reason why it's so disgusting that Vitality threw that game is because Heretics is so bad. If Heretics was legit, you wouldn't be like, what the fuck? What's wrong with Vitality? You'd just be like, yeah, Heretics was good. I don't know. There's better.
FlyQuest is good. FlyQuest's been a revelation. VTO going back to MVP for him. Evie's there. You know, he's there filling the roster spot. Mad Lions also as well at 3-0, but also a surprising start for Fnatic at 2-1. They did lose today against G2, but how do we feel about the start of this split for the LEC and who's going to end up on top?
Look, Dom, all I'm saying is that if Looper can win a world championship where his only ability is teleporting into bot lane, so can Evie. He can win a domestic title.
Yeah, as somebody who is a fan of Looper slander, that is the most disrespectful comparison of all time. That is ridiculous. Evie doesn't even know where his teammates are. Like, did you see him after he ints a fight? His whole team dies, and then he TPs the Baron and ints again. Like, he actually looks like he wants to lose when he's playing. Like, he makes the only plays possible that could get them in a position to lose. You're not gonna win with that. Heretics will never win with this. I don't care how good Jankos is. I'm like one of the biggest Jankos apologists. It's a fluke week. They'll end the split like 5-4 or something. They'll go into group stage. They won't make playoffs. There it is. That's that.
All right, who will win LEC, Dom? Who will win LEC?
G2 is gonna win LEC.
Yeah, correct take.
They're going to win LEC because that's how LEC works right now.
It's how it always works. No, I agree.
Who do they beat?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about G2. They looked obviously weak towards the end of spring. Broken Blade looked like a real liability. Then suddenly, I don't know what the fuck happened to both like Licorice and Broken Blade at MSI, but they actually managed to look good. Broken Blade is continuing to look good. If anything, at MSI too, it wasn't Broken Blade, it was Caps who was really off his game a lot of the time at MSI. And we're seeing more kind of vintage Caps performances so far in the early stages of this split. The game that G2 lost, by the way, they trolled themselves into a defeat by trying to get fancy with the Nico, which it was incredibly entertaining. It was not the most entertaining Nico game. They did play for content. The Canyon played the most entertaining Nico game that I've seen so far. That was peak entertainment, guys, if you haven't seen that yet. He's the only player in a major region to play Nico so far in the jungle. That was wonderful, but it was very entertaining, and they did throw a massive lead because they were trolling. I do not think that they would do that in other serious games in the future. I think that they have the talent, and it seems like the players are all performing like we would expect players of this caliber to perform, and indeed similar perhaps to what we saw in spring. And if Caps can ramp up into his peak form into Worlds, this could be a very dangerous team internationally.
Dangerous in terms of what? Like, how dangerous are we talking?
They will take games off of 3rd/4th place Korean and LPL teams, maybe.
So they moved, so they make it to like quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals.
They might, out of groups. Tom, they might be the 10th best team in the world at some point.
I can agree with
maybe.
that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that as much as I enjoy some of their wacky carry jungle games, they've been playing relatively standard meta compositions, and Yike has been on kind of like crowd control junglers or engaged junglers, and they look good when they're playing standard, which means that they also still have their old bag of tricks to get up to, which is always enjoyable for them.
Yeah, people will forget the Belveth will always be there. Who do they beat? Who else has a good run here for LEC based off of this? I guess what you had coming in, Dom, and this first week of is it Mad Lions?
I mean, I had Fnatic pretty high, so I guess I'll go Fnatic.
What? You have Fnatic high?
Yeah, I had them pretty high. I mean, they have a bot lane now, so like that's like pretty OP to have a bot lane. Like, I don't think people understood how bad Reckless really was. Like, Reckless was like very not good. Like, I think he just didn't do any damage, and Noah actually does damage. And having a good AD carry is really OP in the West.
Also, Tribby is still very good.
Yeah, and Tribby is just significant. I mean, it should be illegal to upgrade your bot lane this hard. Like this is fucking crazy. So, I think the Fnatic will be good enough to potentially get like third, second, something like that. And then they'll just lose in finals. I think G2 is just going to win. Maybe Mad Lions does it, something like that.
Carsey finally learned how to play Aphelios. Maybe that was
that was cool.
That was a surprising development after years of not being able to play Aphelios.
Having to go back to the Jinx or the Trist. But yeah, that was a pretty huge play there for Mad Lions with him kind of saving the game there on the bottom side of the map.
It was only that hard because they drafted Annie. Because no one should draft Annie. Because no one can play Annie. Because people have separation anxiety in the West and are afraid to be isolated from their team in a bush.
I have Dom, you watched all the matches, right? You watched all the matches. Because we were talking about Reckless. Sorry, Reckless, you're gonna take a stray. Did you notice he was wearing the same clothes? I didn't look that closely, but I swear at the end of on Saturday's broadcast,
tattoos. I know it's weird, but they're just tattoos.
No. He was wearing all black. It was.
He doesn't always wear a black shirt. They got in their tattoos.
No, it was a shirt. It was a shirt. He had red shoes. It was all black with red shoes.
Bro, I look. Reckless is too advanced in the fashion game. I can't even begin to comprehend it. Like I don't even speak on things that I can't understand. I'm like the type of guy, if I showed up on the LEC broadcast, and when I did show up on the LCS broadcast before, I was the type of guy that would just wear like a nice black dress shirt, good pants, a belt, and a fucking watch. That's how I do it.
Okay. When did you go on the LCS desk? I gotta find this.
Oh man, it's like so hard. I don't even know. It's like 20. It wasn't on the desk. Or was it on the desk? I casted games like 2017 on like the sub channel or something.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then they fucking ruined my outfit because they made us wear jackets for some reason. They gave me a jacket that they had that was too big. But you know what? That's on them. Now you can just wear a dress shirt. They changed the rules. They like to do that to me. They just change the rules afterwards.
Yeah, you are such a great person to take learning lessons with. That's why.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll go back to check to see Reckless's tattoos and whatever. Better on the desk than playing. God, Frankie also cooked the fuck out of Cadril as well. She basically said that on the broadcast. It was like something about who was on the desk with it. It was Video at the end of this last game, and it was like, something about scrim results record, and she's like, yeah, and that's why you're doing a great job here on the desk. It was like, what the
damn
fuck?
They should have brought Thorin on with Frankie. I want to see Frankie respond to Thorin. Like, that was such a banger video. Thorin versus Frankie. That's like, oh man, I need to see like some response. I need that to go on. I want her to say something bad. I mean,
there
Thorin
is no
now.
response to that. Basically, I mean, he this like, here's a question for you guys. Why would you fuck with investigative journalists, man? Just don't fuck with them. Why would you fuck with
Thorin? You know who Thorin is?
Don't fuck with Thorin. Good or bad.
Don't fuck with Thorin.
Yeah, good or bad, I don't. I'm just gonna.
I just love it. People just like come at Richard Lewis and Thorin, and they're like, well, I guess it's time to dig up your entire history then for fun.
Yeah.
What?
For fun.
What's the point, guys? You got a few Twitter points, and now now they're angry. Like, don't do that. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move away from the Western League with the host to the Western League without a host. There we go. That was pretty good. LCS. Here we go. Who wins? Who wins LCS?
C9.
Split. All right. Cool.
Oh, come on. You
Monty,
got no
anything?
hot takes. You got no hot takes.
There's
today?
no hot take. Everyone else looks bad.
I mean, if you want hot takes, we'll talk about Korea in a second. I'll tell you who's gonna win.
All right. Good. FlyQuest. They're coming back. There you go. Coming back from 0-3.
Coming back from dance practice.
I think that they will. I think
summer, like no other.
Vikla is going to remember how to play Ari like he did when he was on KT. Okay. Spica is going to stop randomly inting, which has been a problem this entire year, where he overextends and then dies. They will start mechanically playing properly and hitting their skill shots. That first game, if they had hit a couple more skill shots, could have been very, very different. I think Prince and Vulcan are going to get that synergy down. The shot calling is going to improve. Their scrim results that are fantastic are going to translate into stage results. It's a great meta, as you say, Dom, to be a carry AD player. I believe that the synergy between Prince and Vulcan will come. FlyQuest will win summer.
All I'm saying is that Bo and Photon and Prince and Vikla are becoming the same fucking players to me. I've just lost all faith. I was hyped on Prince too. I remember watching
Bo
LCK.
has fallen out of your graces. There's no hope left.
Yeah, there's no hope left. I mean, it's also just like the way he tries to play with his team. Like, he's like, all right, Perks will certainly hit this chain. It's like, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, Perks will never hit the chain. Like, Perks will never hit that fucking dry ass chain in lane. It's just not gonna happen. But it's like, Bo wants to believe. He's like, guys, I'll be a good team player. No, bro, that's not the right approach. If you want to win in this fucking league, if you want to win LEC, you need to play the way you played in solo. You know how you dick the whole fucking server playing all these super carry champions? You should just be doing the same shit. What's good here? Fucking, if it's Talon, play some fucking Talon and 1v9 the game. You have to 1v9 the game. I can see in his mentality, he's not there to 1v9 the game. Vikla is just bad. Number one, he's just bad. Like, this is gonna be, I would be very surprised if we see Vikla have like a massive upward trajectory.
I think these are nerves for Vikla for whatever reason.
For like 6 months, 6 months of nerves.
I don't know what it is, man.
Bro,
maybe
that's
it's a skill. Maybe it's a skill vampires in North America. Because look, it doesn't affect his like very good solo queue performance, right? Like, clearly you couldn't be as terrible as he is and hit number one even on NA solo queue. I don't believe it.
I played against the Zingy. I remember I played against the Zingy who hit rank 1, and he showed up at LCS, and I just did unspeakable things to him. I never saw him again. No. He just came on stage. I just fucking dicked him off the stage, and then I just never saw him again. He just disappeared. He never even played solo queue again. He literally evaporated from the ass beating I gave him.
Reigning world champion coach Song, who somehow whispered Pioshik to a world title. Surely he can fix this problem, right? If anybody can if he can get DRX to a fucking world title, he should be able to get FlyQuest to an LCS title with this roster.
You have too much faith in coaches, man. You have too much faith in coaches.
Coaching has evolved, Dom.
Coaching is the worst role. It's the worst role on the team. It is just so they need to buff coaching because, like, right now,
I'm coming up with reasons that FlyQuest can win, Tom. Look, Cloud9, they've been doing very well. They continue to be on their roll. They get overly aggressive sometimes. I think MNS is a very shaky player when it comes to maybe throwing games.
And he's like 10 times better than fucking Vikla.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, 10 times is a lot, but yeah, he's better. You take MNS.
Bro, I literally want to go. I want to solve time travel. Go back, and I want to put my Annie. So I right now am 450 LP master on the NA server. I have not been playing the game because I think it's shit. I'm playing Diablo 4 and I'm playing TFT right now. I want to go and play my autofill Annie in that LCS game against Gory, and I want to see if I can int it less hard than Vikla did. That's all I want to do. I want to see if it's possible. I honestly think I got a shot. I think I have a shot of doing better.
If only those scab games had happened, you could have played for FlyQuest.
Bro, if the scab games happen, like the thing is, I just need to play against Gory. He can't be that good, bro. It can't be impossible to be that good. I get autofilled. I play Annie against fucking LCS. It's not that hard. It cannot be that hard. Give me a chance.
Monty, what class is Dom in Diablo 4? Necromancer, rogue, sorcerer, barbarian, druid.
Rogue.
I think you're a necro. What are you?
I'm a necro. I'm not going to make the joke. I'm not going to make the joke. I'm not a necro. The way you said it is like there's
Good.
a necrophiliac joke out there somewhere,
There
but
it
I'm
is.
not going to
All
take the
right.
bait.
Cool.
No, I play
Don't take the
druid.
bait.
I play druid.
I've also been playing druid.
I'm not playing that much. I'm literally just refusing to play League at this point. The
Yeah.
game is so bad. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I'm a pretty big grinder of League, and I don't think I've played in like a month. It's been pretty. It's pretty.
Well, for me,
it's
I
not-
mean, maybe I oversold it. It's been like 2 weeks, but you know what? Like,
21 days. That's like a month. It's been a little while.
not bad.
All right.
What else we got?
Let's move forward to LCK. You said something spicy here, Dom. What you got?
Not T1. Fuck T1. They suck. They're trash. They're so bad. Did you see that game? Did you see that series they played against Gen G? What the fuck? Look, Faker is a Cassante one trick. He is a Cassante one trick. He can't play anything else. He can't play anything else. It's so crazy, bro. They're just lucky that you don't have teams like BLG over in LCK, because BLG might be able to get a title this year if they didn't have to compete with JDG. If they're playing against LCK teams, you saw what they did in MSI. It'd be fucking Swift. They'd make Swift work of that league. Probably like a nice little 9-1 playoff run. Take the fucking title. They'd go back to China. That's all I'm saying. So
Dom
T1 should have won that series against Gen G.
Yeah, dude, no, they shouldn't have, because they can't close out a game with fucking Drake. Like,
they did throw.
it's not even that they throw. Like, they should be so much further ahead. Also, where's the fucking carry meat riding video that we get? Where's the TikTok video of that Flash level 2? Flashes in with Blitz, knocks the guy up, misses the hook on the knocked up target. Where's the video? This is why he's the best player in the world, dude. He's just reading the other guy's movement.
He was anticipating his movement midair.
Look, bro.
Carrier better get ready to learn American, buddy. He better get ready to learn American, because if we got some salaries over here in future years, it's over for him. That team is cooked.
Right. I think Dom's take might be slightly outrageous, but I do agree that T1 is not going to win the title. I do agree with that, because it's going to be KT.
I believe in Gen G.
It's KT?
It's KT, baby.
Copium. All right, let's hear it.
You ready for my KT reasoning?
Go for
You
it.
trust aiming?
Aiming doesn't have to do anything. he can be a janitor on this roster. Okay? All he has to do is sit under tower with a Yumi on him and not die on Ezreal, and they are still capable of winning games.
I mean, that's
here's
all
the
playing in
reason
LCK anyway. It's just plumbers and janitors, bro. This is like 1950s NBA. Where's the real league?
So Keen is the best top laner in the LCK right now. He's been absolutely fabulous. You can't let him have the Renekton. You still can't let him have the Jax. He will carry these games. He's excellent at team fighting, excellent at playing both tanks and carries, pushing at his advantages in lane. He rarely throws. Keen has been superb. I am looking forward to Keen versus Zeus, probably the two best top laners. His competition isn't great. You know, Zeus is back into regular season form, which means that he's playing well, but we know that will disintegrate. Keen has been a much more clutch player historically in times where the going's gotten tough, right? Doran has been miserable so far this split in LCK. And BDD, this is the meta for BDD. He's got his Azir back. Wonderful. Can still play that Twisted Fate. That's all going great. Talia looking awesome. He is a great facilitating mid lane player, and he makes big plays on some of these control mages, especially now that Azir is back in the meta. Cuz has been shockingly good. Perhaps that won't last. I'm willing to say that might not last. But KT looks like a very tight team right now. Yes, they lost to Gen G, but they were tilted by the ruling about the static shiv and having to go back. They bodied Gen G in the first game of that series. I think they'll win the rematch. This is KT's year. And it's not getting excited about KT because KT has been good for a long time. They almost went to MSI. They should have won their series against T1 in the upper bracket. Okay? Mm-hmm. So they have had every opportunity. This is the time. The prophecy of KT starts now. Keen is our god. Love Keen.
KT could have been the team getting 3-0'd by BLG in the lower bracket instead of KT.
Exactly. Why wasn't it KT?
Exactly. It should have been KT. The gal could then be BDD's father, Chobi's father, and Faker's father all at the same time, bro. Let's fucking go.
But I think Gen.G, while beating KT, I still think that this team is going to struggle mightily internationally unless Doran has a performance like he did in the LCK Spring Finals. I just don't trust this guy. I don't trust Doran on the top side.
I mean, Doran ran it down in MSI as well, but I mean, he ran it down pretty much every single match besides for the 2 first games of the T1 series. Yep. Hell yes. And you know what? That's all I needed out of him. That's why I'm a Doran fan. Like, he got it done when it fucking mattered.
And then, Dom, I had to listen to all the casters at MSI who didn't watch Doran for the entire season tell me that he's an amazing Gragas player when he was really only an amazing Gragas player in those finals. That was it. It was one day of amazing Gragas play. Yeah,
I mean, he's tough. He's a tough player to get behind. I mean, he just has such like egregious mistakes in lane that he's kind of funny though, to be honest. Like the way he dies, it is like pretty entertaining.
Did you like it when Zayas 1v1'd him on the Malphite with the Gnar?
Oh yeah, I broke down. I did a VOD review of that. It's on my YouTube, and I broke down like how like mechanically bad it was from the Gnar. Like the way he used his Q. The only reason that he could get solo killed there is because Malphite Qs him, and then during his Q, when he has the most movement speed, where if you're playing Gnar, you should just be holding the boomerang to slow him if he walks at you. Like, you just hold the boomerang. He throws a max range boomerang, and Zeus has a million movement speed from the Q, just walks around it and gets an auto range of 2 W. He gets 2 W autos just directly on Doran, and that's the reason why Doran dies. Like, then it puts him in lethal range for the ult. So that was a crazy fucking solo kill. I mean, I'd be so triggered. I don't really like believe in Gen.G. I just want anyone but T1 to win. I'm down with KT winning. Just please no T1 win.
Love it.
Dom gets all his brownie points from playing both sides with the votes over at MSI. That little graphic from One Esports, and then being like, "Yeah, T1, they're gonna win. It's great." Now it's over. Queue up the trucks. We know where to send them. Lowell Park.
Yep. I will say on this show, I was arguing for why Gen.G could win finals. No one gave me credit for that shit.
That's true.
I put a whole argument together as to why Gen.G would do better than KT would against T1, which was a banger episode. You should go watch that. Anyways, my point is, I think that one thing I wanted to say is, in general, when you look at KT and Gen.G, I don't know how you feel about this, Monty, from watching LPL and LCK. I feel like LCK is getting too like stagnant. Like they're getting too slow. And it's concerning to me after how they looked coming into MSI and then after MSI. Like, I felt like there was a more confidence or something in the gameplay from what I've seen.
Yeah, the games haven't been very good, I would say, in LCK so far.
Yeah, I mean, they're not amazing in LPL either. It just seems like there's more like a chutzpah in the games. Something.
I think that's true generally of LPL. I think that this next week may change that a little bit. Remember that we saw Gen.G versus KT and Gen.G versus T1 both. So the Gen.G versus KT game is just marred by the fact that the whole like item bullshit happened and like forcing aiming to sell the static shiv. So that was kind of a throwaway in the end. And then Gen.G versus T1 was really sloppy. But we haven't this last week we had kind of garbage games, honestly. So this next week though, we have KT Damwon Kia and DK versus D plus Kia rather. D plus versus KT, D plus versus Gen.G, and then we have the telecom war. And I think those games, we'll see what the quality of those games looks like, because I think that'll be a better indication of how the league is going moving forward. So this is all just to say, guys, and this is a great time to discuss this, but we've got a new cool thing for Last Free Nation in partnership with Esports Bet, which is that now we have an official LFN match of the week for Esports Bet. And what this means, and speaking of the telecom war, that's what it is. It's T1 versus KT this next week. That's our match of the week. And if you have signed up with the LFN referral code, which you can see on your screen or click on it down below, you can get an additional 10% profit on the match of the week up to $100 USDT or the equivalent of $100 USDT in another cryptocurrency or DJT. That means if you place your wager on the telecom war this week and you win, you get an additional 10%. So it's a pretty sick incentive. Go ahead, sign up right now. You can play for free with DJT as well. And that'll be a great opportunity to get some additional value for you guys. So that's pretty cool. Also, by the way, you should definitely predict KT because T1 stands always mega tilt the odds in favor of T1. And I think KT are actually the favorite going into this match, given what we've seen from both of these teams so far. But even if you believe that they're 50-50, KT is still going to have better odds. So that's really exciting, guys. Go check out the match of the week. Thank you for Esports Bet. Get an additional, you guys should go now because you get an additional 10%. And remember, you can play also for free with DJT. And that DJT can be converted into real money later on.
Boom. Thank you very much to Esports Bet covering the telecom wars with our match of the week. Let's move forward to our last major region that we want to dive into. Shanji's believers stand up, or will our rookie fans stand up? It's the beginning of the split, so that means Top Esports is going to be doing well. Will they be able to hold on? Probably not. It's been years of heartbreak and not seeing rookie.
Hey, we have JDG versus Top this next week.
Yep,
that's gonna be
some banger LPL matches. There's a lot of ones that are underrated. Obviously the one is JDG versus Top. That's the big one that everyone.
LNG versus Billy. That's gonna be fucking sick.
Yeah, LNG versus BLG is huge. We've got Weibo versus BLG. That's another one that's huge. And then my personal favorite is gonna be OMG versus WE, because I think WE started out well. Like, they're not a bad team. They started out 8-0 game score. I mean, they haven't played great teams, but today they played against Ninjas in Pajamas, who have been doing pretty well. And they clapped them pretty hard. And OMG had a tough start to their season. They played JDG, Weibo, BLG, and RNG. They split those matches 2-2. They beat both bad teams pretty handedly. And yeah, now they're going to be playing against WE. So I think that's going to be a fucking banger. And I've said it on the show before. I always say it. Middle of the pack teams playing against each other in LPL.
That's matches.
Is where the real bangers are. Like, you get like a 6th place versus 7th place, or like a 6th versus an 8th or something. You get some fucking crazy hype games. So I'll be watching that one.
All right, chat. This is for our live homies. Where's our OMG enjoyers, our Shanji enjoyers that have followed the train since Dom put us on it? The craziest of squads. But the main question now, as we're getting those coming into the chat, who takes it home? Dom, who's taking the LPL title? Always a crap.
JDG is too fucking good. They're so good. They're so fucking good. I mean, there's nothing to even say. I mean, I think they're just the best team in the world right now.
I didn't catch a lot of the games this past week, but I will just go against the grain and say, even though I'm not caught up off of a lot of the games this past week, I'm going to go for my hopium angle, which is LNG now with Gala. They did quite well against the two top teams, JDG and Top Esports. They dealt Top their only loss in the initial week of competition. And this is a team that I loved watching last split with Scout and Tarzan, and now they have not a bot in the bot lane. And I think that once the full integration with Gala completes and we get into the playoffs, it's my hope. I think JDG will win, just to be clear. But it's my hope that LNG will be able to create some upsets. I really want to see LNG at Worlds. That I would really love to see that.
I want to see OMG at Worlds. I want to see OMG. I want to see Rookie. I want to see JDG and BLG. Those are my teams.
No BLG. Delete BLG. Replace with LNG. I'm on board with you.
Why not BLG?
Because I'd rather see
all the Korean teams.
I'd rather see LNG because I want to see Scout and Tarzan.
Okay,
that's why.
All right, that's fair.
Can you also, for us Western fans, give us the update on the return of Uzi, not in RNG colors, but now in the black, white, and white of EDG?
Yeah, it's not going well. It's a little tough.
Why?
I don't know, bro. It just looks like when players that take a long time off return, it's gonna take a while for him to get good again. You saw when Doublelift came back, when Reckless came back. It's just hard to play AD carry when you miss this much time, and then there's completely different metas than what you played in. I mean, before, what was the last meta he played in? Season 9 Worlds. Like, so he's playing like in a meta before Senna Aphelios even existed. Like these champions literally didn't even exist. And now you're playing like Aphelios. You're playing these Lucian like Nami lanes. You're playing Aphelios Milio. Zeri wasn't out. It's just you have to play a completely different champion pool. And you can play them all day in solo queue, but until you get like the scrib games and the stage games with these champions, it's really hard to match that level. So I think EDG, they're looking like a bottom tier playoff team. Like they'll make playoffs, but probably be towards the end of it. That's what I think.
Trivia time, because I feel like this is a good one. It's Dgon Stat of the Week, sponsored by no one, just because Dom inspired me. What was the highest played 80 carry in 2019 Worlds? I did not get this right. I was not close.
Highest played 80 carry in 2019 Worlds?
Yeah.
Was
it highest pick ban? How about that? Highest pick ban.
Highest pick ban, highest presence champion.
Yeah, highest presence.
Was it Kaisa?
Kaisa was the most played, but not the highest presence.
Oh.
71 games of Kaisa by 22 different players.
Oh, so there was something that was like probably permabanned?
Yeah, it was mostly banned. So Kaisa had 71 games, 17 bans. This other character,
Varus,
had 57 games, 45 bans.
What, maybe Zaya?
There you go. It was Zaya.
Okay.
What was the other new champ at that time?
Yeah, it was Zaya, Kaisa meta. Okay, got it.
And then scrolling, Syndra bot was the next most banned bot lane, or most presence bot lane.
Oh, that was a rough time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then after that, Ezreal in all 3 lanes. Right. So yeah. All right. Anyway, cool. Those were our Galaxy Brain Club discussions across multiple different leagues. Also, one of my favorite things is while Monty is passionately and eloquently with stats backing something up, and Dom's like typing and goes, yeah, I already know he has a banger response coming back saying, yeah, this is the team that will get third over, lose to the third Chinese team. So
I'm gonna enjoy this because the Worlds was so dude. This is the thing. LPL has won 4 out of the last 5 internationals, but if you went based off narratives, it feels like they've won like a 1 out of 5. Like it's fucking crazy when you start like going into the social media world and Reddit world.
Triggered by T1 fans, it's unbelievable.
It's the best.
I hate them so much, man. It's like so like
Dom, just ignore them for fuck's sake.
They're so weird to me. Like I clicked on some dude's profile. I told him I chat this. I clicked on some dude's profile, and it was 2 pictures. It was a picture of Faker after he won Spring Split last year in 2022, and then the first picture was when he was crying after they lost the iconic one where his like head is down in 2017 when they lost in finals. And it said something like back then I could barely bear the pain, but now I see you happy. The world is yours, king. I love you. And it had like 79 retweets and like 150 likes. And I just couldn't believe it was a real thing. I could not. I was like the amount of cringe. It's like how do you type that and not hate yourself afterwards? Like that
has
is crazy,
K-pop gone
man.
too far? The answer is yes. Delete K-pop.
It said I love you. And no, the thing that was so crazy too is not only was it like a bunch of because like Korean Twitter is different. They just retweet shit a lot, but they don't like it that much. So you'll see like a tweet with like 400 likes and 250 retweets. Like that's just like kind of normal. But the comments were all like, "This was beautiful." Like this is amazing. I shed a tear reading that. Like I couldn't believe it's so insane to me that this is like how like it's so weird, man. Like this is not normal behavior.
I like how Dom just spends his time getting triggered.
love you. I love you. And then obviously his name had Faker, and I tried to find the guy because I blocked him. It was just too ill.
Dom's like, I finally have some free time after co-streaming for 23 hours a day. What should I do? It's time to go click on some T1 fan profiles.
No, normally it's while I'm streaming. It's normally while I'm streaming. Like I'll go on Twitter and I'll tweet something out, and then like I'll just tweet something out that's like pretty normal, and they'll be like, "Shut the fuck up, LPL lover."
Oh, he's got the Faker jersey.
King. They go fucking crazy on me. Burn that shit. Number 1.
Thank you very much, T1, for the swag. Yeah. Also,
oh my god,
these pants are so tight. This is so
my
cool.
god.
Yeah,
oh wow.
Like, they're so nice. They're so nice. They're so nice. You know what? You get second place at Worlds. Fine. It's fine.
Maybe I'll write some
Do you,
faker.
King?
Maybe I'll write
Do
some
you,
faker
King?
poetry for the next show to read to you, Dom.
Please make it better than that. Like, it wasn't even it was just.
I could definitely do it better than that.
You just
Or I
went with,
can make
I
it
love you.
intentionally worse. Better
love
than
you.
that.
But the thing is, if you make it intentionally worse, it won't hit right. Like, that's the perfect level of bad where it's just like, wow, you're just a real human being. I can't believe it.
All right, let's move on. I gotta get out of here,
sorry.
guys.
I know.
Let's go.
I'm sorry. Just
Okay.
last comment, split second in the chat said Dom is surrounded. Generally, this is how it's worked. Broncos fans, my fan. Oh, like we had the Heat against the Nuggets. Now it's the T1 holders. Over here. All right.
Make it stop, man. Make it
We'll
stop.
move forward. All right, last segment of the day. A classic. We're going into a good old fraud alert here. Between two teams that should have a lot of hope. But on Power Spike, I'm surrounded by two negative guys. So we're going to say which one is the most fraud? Is it TL or Heretics? And how high on out of 10 in the fraudometer are they? Let's get into it. All right. The chat's like saying all these other teams that like aren't TL or Heretics.
T1. Yeah, I've conditioned a bunch of people to hate T1 and love OMG. It just is what it is.
I know. I said OMG's OMG
Guys,
fans
don't
stand
be
up. There's a ton of
brainwashed
them.
by Dom. Don't be brainwashed by Dom.
Yeah.
Why
yeah,
not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? It's honestly pretty nice hating on T1. You get to be happy.
Dom's like, I hate all these brainwashed T1 fans. I love me some brainwashed OMG fans.
Yeah, the thing is, like, one of them is just more fun than, like, have you noticed the difference of OMG fans? Like, OMG fans are like excited with the success, and if they lose, they're like, damn. T1 fans are like, fuck you for saying T1 was gonna lose. Like, they're vicious, bro. They're telling people they were telling me that they were just gonna like kill my family. Like, it was insane. So anyways,
Has K-pop gone too far? The answer is yes.
which I like that culture. I just don't think it's normal. I think that it's actually really fucked up to just,
I think
like,
it's horrible.
Prioritize idol's life over your own in a way. I think it's just very weird. Anyways, what I was gonna say, Heretics clearly are more frauds than TL. Clearly they're more frauds. Like, this is a team, when you look at the way that they won their games, like, yeah, they got some TPs off. They almost threw this game to Vitality. The reason why it's such a bad loss for Vitality, and the reason why you look at Vitality and you flame them for it, is because they shouldn't have lost that game. Like, they shouldn't have lost that game. They played really fucking bad, and Heretics ended up acing them and then just winning the game off of that. That's number one. Number two, like, TL actually looks like they have Summit in form, and if Summit is in form, he's just a monster, right? If Summit's in form and the ball lane's just fine and Pyosik actually plays like normal, that team could be like a top 4 team. Like, I don't think Heretics is a top 4 team.
Okay, wait, just to clarify, Dom, I know I kind of poked at your PTSD a little bit with the thumbs up of Evie, but this isn't this or that. This is rating on a scale of 1 to 10. And
Wait,
also,
who's more fraudulent?
Yeah, you did.
I said who's more fraudulent on a scale of 1 to 10.
All right, fair enough. Yes, rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. Is Heretics how fraudulent are they?
How fraudulent?
Like, okay, so we're saying like, so they're 3-0, like expected to win the league. So if you're not gonna win the league, you're automatically like somewhat fraudulent.
I think that you can make it as much as whatever category you want. Are they frauds or not at 3-0?
Okay.
And like the success that they've had, because I feel like we're detracting from FlyQuest being we thought Evie was the problem, which he still is, but FlyQuest is there and they're all talking up about FlyQuest and trying to protect Jack Spectra as well. You know, they're like, he's a good teammate, but FlyQuest is telling me what I need when I need it in an AD carry meta, and has been kind of like a revelation so far.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to look at these teams and I'm going to look at like where they are and how I think they're going to end up, Heretics is one of 2 teams that are 3-0 right now in the LEC. And I don't think that they're a top 4 team. So I would say that they're like 8 or 9 fraudulency. They're pretty fraudulent. And then I would say TL is maybe like a 2 or 3. Like, I think that they'll be a top 4 team.
Dom, I mean, Monty, like, you and I are reacting the same way here, man.
You are saying that a Pyosik team where Pyosik has been mad overperforming. I've been to the Pyosik rodeo before, dude. I had to watch all his fucking games for years. And
Well,
this guy has he has been a streaky player and he has had some very good streaks, but he always regresses. And okay, Summit's on form, right? But Harry and Yun are not going to be the carries this team needs. So it's going to be all in on Summit at one point in time. I think TL's at least a 6. It's at least a 6.
No, I think that, like, so where are you expecting them to end? TL.
Where am I expecting TL to end? Well, if it depends on how FlyQuest does, obviously, but also we have to consider the fact that LCS is just a worse league.
Yes.
Right? Like I expect
that's what I'm considering too.
I expect FlyQuest and Golden Guardians and possibly NRG to bounce back from where they are right now. Evil Geniuses has had a surprising amount of life in them. So I think they could end 5th. TL.
Okay, yeah, I have them like 4th. So whatever amount of fraudulency that is, I think they could just be top 4.
I think that ending at a 50% win rate or like what,
yeah, like 10-8.
10-8, okay, that's fine. But if you're starting 3-0, that's saying that they're probably just going to 50% from here on out, or maybe even have a losing record, right?
Sure. I mean, maybe they'll end up a little bit higher than that. I just think that they're like a more legitimate team than Heretics. Like, I think the TL will look like close to as good as the top teams in NA, where I think Heretics will be just like, they'll just not be considered a good team.
I think at least with Heretics, they have some, with the Yankos VTO combo, they can steal games at the very least. Like, if their strategy is just going to be that Evie and VTO
that's
just like TP into bot lane.
Heretics can steal games, but I think TL will actually like win games. I think TL will actually just be better compared to the league. Like, if you're going to look at both of these teams, Heretics might be better than TL just right now. But I'm just talking about like when I'm looking at how fraudulent are they within the league. Like, if I'm comparing any LCS team to like fucking top LPL teams or some shit, they're all fucking 10 out of 10 frauds. Just cancel the fucking league, Like, that's how I'm viewing it.
I give them both a 6 out of 10. I think they're both equally fraudulent. I don't think that TL's a 2 and Heretics is a 9.
Well, I mean, I would, I think that they're actually that bad. I think Heretics are actually terrible.
No, they've had some good plays. They've managed to get some really solid leads, especially in the laning phase. Their TPs have been good. Like, their map awareness has been good. They've been sacking top lane pressure in order to get Flacket or VTO ahead, but it's been working. And historically, if you get VTO advantages and you just all in on him, it works. I also think that Peter Dunn knows how to funnel resources on a roster, and so I have confidence that he's going to unlock VTO. So you know what? I'm put Heretics at 5 out of 10, TL at 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. And in your reasoning, you didn't touch on Harry, bro. Like, Harry was one of the major issues with the squad. Yeah.
Harry's terrible, but like, so is the rest of the league he's playing against. Have you seen Vikla? Like, Vikla is the guy who I'm saying is going to outperform him. Like, Vikla is so fucking bad, bro. Like,
I mean, the state of mids, I do agree with Dom's point. The state of mids in NA is just generally terrible. So even though Harry is also bad, it's like, who's going to beat him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. That's how I view it. I'm like, yeah, Gory will probably shit on him. MNS will shit on him. And then like Vikla, if he gets even a slight better, will shit on him. I think Harry will be like probably fine against the rest. I don't think Palafox is going to like shit on Harry to a degree that matters if Summit is actually playing like Summit. And Summit just looks like a completely different player now. Like, he's starting to look like 2022 spring Summit.
He's definitely on the upswing, but so is VTO. I think this is an interesting conversation though to look back on, just having both of these teams be undefeated after 1 week. Fascinating, because I think both of them are worse than their record would indicate. But who's going to continue to be worse is the question.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they both had pretty like soft schedules, I would say. If you look at Heretics, who did Heretics play against? They played against XL. No, they played against Astralis.
SK and Astralis.
Yeah, they played SK, Astralis, and Vitality, and they threw the Vitality game. Vitality played a fucking terrible game, and Vitality was in position to win.
And Liquid played TSM, 100 Thieves, and Immortals. So they very soft schedule for Team Liquid.
I would say that 100 Thieves is probably equivalent, at least, right? Like, you'd say that it's equivalent at least to Vitality, right? Like that type of like middle tier team.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, if you look at the other games, like, I just think that, they're not easy games, but it's also just the way that Liquid's games look. They seem like they're just cleaner. Like, they seem like they're just a better team.
I mean, just news for all of us.
Just wait for Pioshik to return back to form. You just wait.
He might not. Maybe he has enough easy games here because their next matches are Energy, Dig, and EG. They have the easiest beginning of the schedule because week 3 is FlyQuest, Cloud9, and Golden Guardians.
Oh, come
on,
man.
6-0. They might be like
the
riding
Liquid
high.
delusion's gonna keep on for a while. Fuck my life, man. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I think even if they lose to the best 3 teams, I mean, they could end up 11-5, like 10 and fucking 8, something like that. Or not 11-5, 11-7.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. 11-7, 10-8, 12-6 is even a possibility. Like 12-6 gets you far, bro. Like 12-6, you're normally 3rd place.
Yeah.
At least 100 Thieves last split. 100 Thieves got 3rd last split, and what were they?
10-8. I remember it was like the big cluster. It was 10-8, 10-8, 10-8.
I mean, I think Cloud9.
No wonder nobody's watching LCS.
I think Cloud9 is going to dominate this league. I think Cloud9 is going to like barely drop games. Like, I don't know. I don't see how they lose. Like, maybe they lose an odd game to FlyQuest. I just think Cloud9 is so much better than the other teams. I'm expecting Cloud9 to be like 15-3 plus.
A historically good season for our top team, maybe. Well,
no way they go undefeated though. They will throw a game just with the way they play.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if they didn't go undefeated in that fucking spring 2022 or 2020 split where they were like in God mode, they're never going.
All right, chat. Let us know live as we close out, and then in the comments below who you think is going to outlast the other team. End up better by the end of the split. Will it be Heretics or will it be Team Liquid? Kind of surprising how like now the schedules will sync up. The weeks will sync up with playoffs with Europe compared to how it was going to be before. It was going to be a little bit longer.
No, they won't.
I'll sync up to the beginning of playoffs. Sorry, right? Is that how it works?
No, because this will be 6 weeks. This will be 6 weeks of LCS. So by the time that we're at the end of regular season, it will end of LEC because LEC the whole format takes 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, and then this will take 6 weeks as well.
We'll know the answer in 6 weeks. Boom, done.
Yep.
All right, y'all.
Which is
that's
actually
it.
Good.
Our first episode of the summer split is complete. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Monty, Dom, where will people? Dom, you're just doing you can just tune into Dom's stream anytime in the morning, and Dom will be on. There, right?
I'm fucking on the grind. I'm doing LPL, and I'm doing like some of the 2 a.m. games even because now the schedules. So there's some nights where I'm going to sleep at like 10 and then waking up at 2 to go stream.
What a boss.
That's pretty brutal. How about you, Monty?
New show with Doa. Watch that. Summoning Insight. Now on Wednesdays. Move to a new day. So I'll be back on that as well. I'm doing 5 different podcasts now and probably going to do more soon. The grind never ends.
And you can watch the Monty and Wolf show. If you really hate my takes on LCK, watch the Monty and Wolf show because Wolf is literally just the opposite of me at this point. So if you're like, fuck Dom, I hate this guy because I know there's a lot of Dom. You'll love the Monty and Wolf show.
Every possible take here on Last Free Nation. No matter who you're a homer for, the homerism exists here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, make sure to tune into the other shows. My YouTube interviews are up. You can go watch the most difficult, most painful interview I've ever done with Unforgiven. It was.
Wow, you're just gonna call him out like that, okay?
Fuck yeah, dude! You saw it, Dom. It was
horrible.
It was so bad. I almost thought about not posting it, and I was like, no way, this is actually pretty brutal. We got to get this up. He
will never be forgiven for the interview.
I like how after Dgon was like, easy, great interview, and then he's like, that was the worst fucking one I've ever done in my life.
What I've ever done. Please get out of here. Don't kill me. Like a true European player that hates talking after losing. Like I respect that, but he goes in on Academy. He goes in on old teammates. He goes in. He goes in on North America. I asked him like, hey, what was your culture shock? And he's like, biggest culture shock. Everyone sucks at League of Legends.
He's like, he's like, players suck. The food is good, but it's expensive. I was like, stares at Dgon. Looks at him.
All right, man, I'm gonna go watch it now. So you guys better all go watch it too if you're listening to this show.
All right, y'all. We will be back next week to cover the World of League. The Telecom Wars will be on. All the bangers in the mid-table for the LPL, and of course, all the matches here.
Top versus JDG and the Telecom War in 1 week. Fuck yeah, let's go.
All right, y'all. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching.
And
Make sure you
OMG's
subscribe
playing.
to all of our channels.
Yeah.
And OMG's playing. There it is. All right. See you guys later. Bye.